Go.
Hello and welcome everyone to the full moon lunar eclipse with relationships and astrology. And I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz, as always, not as always, but as usual, on Long Island.
Yeah, because we'll be traveling soon, Armand, so we won't be in our usual places.
No.
But for now, this is quite a lunar eclipse, isn't it? I mean, my goodness, it's like we're really struggling to even find words to describe it. I mean, what are your initial thoughts about this lunar eclipse, Armand?
Well, it's not just any lunar eclipse. It's a full moon lunar. Well, all lunar eclipses are full moons on the same day as a Uranus station. Now, Uranus stations are always times when people are a little irritable. There's a lot of motion in the collective. Everybody wants to do their own thing. Give me space, type of thing. Full moons also, in general, make people emotional. And this is the sign of Cancer on top of all. And it's only 2 days away. It's at the same time as the Saturn, Pluto, Eris, Mercury, Sun conjunction. It's just too much. I mean, there's just everything. You know, it's like throw in everything.
It's a really intense weekend, isn't it? I mean, it's just such an intense weekend. And we've been talking about the build up to this for quite a long time. And now it's here. So, you know, it's almost like, well, not almost. We are right in the eye of the storm in terms of the planets in the sky. And so depending where all of these planetary configurations, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 2245 Capricorn, and this lunar eclipse, which is at, 20 odd degrees Cancer and Capricorn, the sun opposition in Capricorn, depending where these land in your chart and in your composite chart, you're really going to feel the effects. Now, just to be clear, because I know there's also a lot of fear out there, this is not something to be frightened of. These are just planetary movements that are a little bit more intense. Okay, let's go for that. I'm going for the positive this week.
A little bit faith.
A little bit, maybe a little bit of anxiety, but we can cope with that. We've got our tools, haven't we? We can ground ourselves and we can cope with being a little anxious. But mostly, a lot of these changes are going on in our psyche. So there's a lot of internal shifts that have been going on for months and months and months. And now they're really kind of coming to a point of something really having to give. And, something might have to, really it's about letting go of something. And the letting go may be just of attitudes within us, attitudes about our relationships, attitudes about, how we connect with people, and attitudes in general in the world. We're really assessing what do we think of what's going on in the world right now? And this is going to filter through to all our relationships.
Indeed it will. And I think that, this is also, I mean, it is a time of internal change, but there's a lot of external stuff going on. I mean, obviously, just, pick up a newspaper, if you dare. Pick up a newspaper and see what's going on. Turn on the television and see what's going on. And there's a lot of stuff going on. And in our, in our personal lives, too, we have some of that same sort of energy. And I think that what happens is, we just get rattled. I mean, it's just, there's just so much going on. And we feel it because, the planets are working internally as well as externally. And I think that, when it comes to relationships, yes, if you particularly get hit by one of these things, if your composite or natal stuff happens to be really connecting with any of the events of the weekend, you're going to really feel it, and that might be a real turning point for you. But I think that the most important thing is to have a little bit of space and a little bit of don't take the jangly energy that is so prominent and then project it onto your partner or throw it into a relationship or blame somebody else for it.
Yes, because it feels like literally the ground under our feet is rocking. And there's been a few earthquakes, of course, recently, so we can feel it, and the horrific fires in Australia. So we kind of feel that, planet Earth doesn't feel as solid as she usually does. And we're not even going to go into the whys or wherefores of that and the horrors of climate change and so on. We're all fully aware of that. But just to know that when the ground under us, which is also represented by Capricorn, all this Earth, the cycles of nature, the natural cycles of nature, where that starts shuddering and juddering, it means that we don't feel very solid. We don't feel, and it's so easy to then get frustrated with our relationships, particularly in long-term committed relationships, where we're kind of feeling unstable within ourselves. It's easy, as you say, to project that onto the relationship and say, hey, why are you doing this, or what's going on here? But so really what we're saying is try and get a wider overview if you can, and just be aware that there are so many factors that are moving at the moment. Everything is moving. The skies are moving, the earth is moving, and we're somewhere in the middle of all of that, caught in all of this. Another factor that's going on is with the South Node conjunct Jupiter, there's also past life issue that is moving. So we're also dealing with letting go of some very intrinsic, entrenched patterns from past lives that are coming up from our unconscious. And that it's, again, we're looking around trying to attribute it to something or someone or some kind of dynamic, when actually we may barely have any memories of it, but just a sensation, a feeling. So really we're saying try and just let go at the moment, as much as possible, let go. And particularly within family dynamics, because the moon is in Cancer, so it's very much about those closest to us, and those closest to us by blood, our family, those people we feel a nurturing sense with. Just to watch out, because it's very easy to attribute a lot of this instability to family dynamics.
Oh boy. Okay. So it's a, I have to say that it's a weekend. It's a full moon, but it's a full moon in the sign of Cancer. Usually, full moons are good times to get out, and I suppose maybe some folks will get out and have some fun this weekend and stuff like that too. There's no reason everybody stay home and tremble under the bed or anything like that. But don't force it. That's the thing this weekend. Don't force it. If you need to spend time by yourself or whatever, just do it.
I would also say lots of self-nurturing. When the moon is in Cancer, think of the basics of the moon in Cancer, what it enjoys. Being around familiar places, familiar people, doing something creative, doing something that really feels self-nurturing, self-soothing, whatever that means.
Pizza.
Is that the pizza?
I have moon in Cancer. I tell you, it's pizza.
Pizza then, but it has to be
egg
Italian
rolls
pizza.
and
Pizza, Italian pizza, Armand, please. Yes, I'm half Italian, so not Irish pizza. The Irish pizza, no. The Irish pizza, no, with pineapple on top. No, my goodness, no. Good Italian pizza. So food that's really nurturing, food that reconnects you maybe with your childhood, happy memories. Also things like looking at old photos that really kind of bring you a sense of joy, a sense of belonging, a sense of comfort, a sense of familiarity. Time with your pets. Our four-legged friends are wonderful. They're wonderfully loving at times like this. So anything that really kind of gives you that sense of nurturing, that sense of softness, really trying to move away from the hard edges, because there's potentially quite a hard edge to these energies, and whatever you do, not to go into a general sense of panic. There can be panic around finances, there can be panic around work. Think of all the key structures in our life. That's work, employment, finances, health, home, all of those really core things that it's so easy with these transits to suddenly panic out of the blue, maybe from a post you read on Facebook. It happened to me the other day. I read something silly on Facebook and suddenly I started panicking around, home situation. I thought, and I really had to stop myself and think, this is crazy. But remembering, as astrologers, we know these energies can set us off. So really reel yourself in. It's really time to emotionally self-regulate with these transits so that we don't head off, off a precipice that really is not very helpful and not very realistic for any of us.
Solid advice. I'm going to order a pizza, so I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Enjoy your pizza, Armand. Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.